Hello everybody, my name is Happy and I'd like to welcome you all to my History Reaction channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the defense of Moscow by Sabaton. As always, I will include a link to the original video in the description down below. If you enjoy this video, please head over to Sabaton, give them a like and subscribe, let them know that you appreciate not only the music but the work they put into these videos because they've all been spectacular. Alright, with that said, defense of Moscow, well, it's a city that's been defended many times over the course of its history, going back to the Mongols, well, even before that, but thinking in terms of large-scale famous conflicts, the Mongols, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in the time of troubles, Napoleon, of course, and finally World War II with the Germans are probably the most best-known epic battles for Moscow. Judging from the thumbnail that led me to this video, I'm guessing we're dealing with World War II. So I'm going to be excited to see what this is about. I don't know a lot about the Battle for Moscow. I believe it was Operation Typhoon, is that correct? And it involved over 1 million people on each side. That's really about all I know about. Well, I know some other things, but most of my classes tended to focus more heavily on Stalingrad. And my own personal interest, because I'm interested in human migration, famine, natural disasters, tends to be more up in Leningrad. So this is an area that we covered the basics in classes, but I never got really deep into the Battle for Moscow. With that said, I have been to Moscow. I visited a couple historical sites related to, well, not necessarily sites, but monuments, things like that related to this battle. So I'm not entirely unaware either. So let's see what we can see here. I'm still assuming this is World War II. Looked like it in the thumbnail. And we'll add what we can. Oh yeah. October 1941, Nazi Germany had pushed far into Russia and was preparing the final assault on Moscow. Each side had presented over 1 million soldiers. Yeah, it was colossal. In 3 months, the fate of Russia would be decided. Za Rodinu, for the motherland, let's go.
Russia 1941, they don't belong. We stand our ground, 1 million strong. We are ready for the strike. Face the army of the Reich, 1 million strong. This is our land, they don't belong. Here Marshal Zhukov's and Stalin's orders. Defend the motherland, Moscow shall not fall. Stand in full command, the blood for the whole land. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat. Face the volleys of their guns, Russia's daughters and her sons. All the brave who stand against the typhoon wave. From the mountains and the plains, coming thousands on the trains. Day and night, rolling in to join the fight. From Kazakhstan to Magadan, call of the motherland, Russia shall prevail. Stand in full command, the blood for the whole land. Hear the mother's call, raise for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat.
that anthem is brilliant. All right, that was actually brilliant. I love how they include the anthem there. I've caught references to Zhukov. That makes sense. Leading general at this time, well, for a lot of the war anyway, and is considered one of the best generals of all time by many historians. Not necessarily top, but he's up there. When it comes to the Battle of Moscow, we got to understand that this was an ongoing thing. It wasn't a single battle. It was more of a... From what I remember, they take Smolensk, just like Napoleon did. There's a reason that Smolensk is called the Guardian of Moscow. It's the last major fortified city to the west of Moscow to help defend against people coming from that direction. The Germans had, their initial thrust with Operation Barbarossa. The leading generals of the Germans kind of wanted to push straight from Moscow. Angry mustache man thought that an economic defeat would be the better way to go. So he diverted some forces to the north and to the south, down into Ukraine, to try to capture the resource-rich areas, especially oil and so on and so forth, down by where Stalingrad is, and then go up to the north to take out Leningrad and break the Leningrad-Moscow railway to help, because Leningrad at the time was an industrial center, to kind of isolate Moscow and help protect the German flanks as well. So it wasn't entirely unfounded, but it did weaken the main German thrust, the middle group towards Moscow. Gave the Russians time to bring in additional defenders from the east and Siberia. I know the Russians set up, I think it was 3 main lines of defense to the west of Moscow to resist this incoming wave of Germans. And I know that they actually used pretty interesting tactics, such as flooding. They actually blew up some dams up to the north, flood the Volga and other rivers, in order to make it more difficult to cross, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot more to this battle I would like to learn about. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But again, I love natural disasters, so I do need to learn more about how they use flooding, for example, as a defense mechanism. And indirectly attack as well. Anyway, let's continue. I just wanted to stop and toss some things in there. I've been sitting a little too quiet for too long. Don't want to do that. Ooh, ow. Nice takedown.
Stand and follow command and run for the homeland. Heed the mother's call, wait for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender. Force them into retreat and into defeat. Stand and follow command and run for the homeland. Heed the mother's call, wait for the storm. Moscow will never give in, there is no surrender.
One thing I've noticed, right at the very beginning, and then a couple flashes here and there, is that a lot of these battle scenes, especially the ones that are very black and white like this, remind me of some of the early Soviet Mosfilm video or movies on World War II. Things like Ballada o Soldata, The Ballad of a Soldier, which is one of my favorite movies. They just kind of have that same feel, which is great. I think it's a great choice for making this video. There's something else I wanted to say here, but I don't remember what it was, so let's continue.
Force them into retreat and into defeat. Stand and follow command and run for the homeland.
All right. I'm going to stay around because sometimes they do stuff at the end. Doesn't look like they're going to here. All right. So, like I said, I have been to Moscow. It's been a while now. About going on 17 years, maybe, give or take. Just off the top of my head. I do remember, the main thing I remember World War II related was visiting the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which was in the Alexander Gardens, Alexandersdorf Sword, in Red Square. It's right up against the wall there in the garden area. And in some ways, it reminds me a lot of our Tomb of the Unknown Soldier here in the United States, in that they have these big they have the ceremonial guards, they do the ceremonial exchange. Very similar in a lot of ways, at least from what I remember from seeing the American equivalent way back when I was young. Not exactly the same, but similar enough. And I was kind of surprised to see they had a Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. But that particular tomb was dedicated to a World War II soldier that died in the defense of Moscow. And to my understanding, there was a mass grave dug for soldiers, unidentified soldiers that had died on that particular front, that was exhumed in, I believe, the 60s and relocated to that area of Red Square. Well, not Red Square, but the Kremlin Wall. I'm not sure if they're right there, if they're in some other part of the Kremlin Wall, but I do know that they were relocated to the Kremlin Wall. I passed by their World War II monuments. I can't even remember the name of it now. I just passed by it. I never got a chance to stop and go in, where they have the triumphal arch and things like that, which actually was a memorial both to World War II and to Napoleon resisting both of them. It's very obvious, so they haven't forgotten. I do remember the monument to Zhukov. They have a big statue of him there. Interesting stuff. But yeah, wish I could add more about the battle in particular, but like I said, it's just not one I know a whole lot about. Just the broad strokes. I do know, that's what I was going to say with the Moss film. Some of the early Moss films about World War II actually used real German tanks because there were so many of them left behind in the Soviet Union after the retreat that they were able to actually use real German tanks in their World War II movies, which I always thought was kind of an interesting bit of trivia about some of those movies. And if you haven't seen Ballad of the Soldier, if you're interested in World War II era movies, it's a good one. Accurate? I don't know, and not a lot of fighting. Clearly wasn't a big budget movie, but I really enjoyed it. Great story about a soldier. Really well worth seeing if you haven't. Anyway, not sure what else I can say about this. Good music as always. Incredible video. I love that they included the Russian national anthem and the Soviet national anthem. The base music stayed pretty much the same. It's the lyrics changed between the Soviet Union and the modern Russian Federation. But I'm pretty sure the music is still pretty much the same as it always had been, just adapted to new lyrics. So that was a really great touch. I was shocked to hear it, but I really appreciate that. I think that's a great thing to do in a video like this. So, not sure what else I can say about this. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for putting me on to Sabaton in the first place. And I'll see you all next time. Till then, bye-bye.